I guess eventually y'all will either come on or you will listen to this later. But I want to share something with you. Um, Let me start off with embracing your past, embracing what you've been through, embracing basically your testimony, because that's what your tests are. They're your testimony. They're for you to tell others of where God has brought you from, what God has done for you. And let me clarify this clearly, make this clear. There is no need to be ashamed of your past. This book, this is my past. This is my past. And my past hopefully will help someone in their future. I have no shame in not one word that I wrote in this book. Not a bit of shame about one word that I wrote in this book. Because I know that if I humbled myself enough to serve God in the manner in which He would have me, because I wasn't called to be that preacher. I wasn't called to be the one that was going to act like nothing happened in their life. I wasn't called to be the one to hold my head up high and look down on others. That wasn't the person I was called to be. That wasn't that preacher I was called to be. I was called to be the one that was going to be honest and transparent. My book is my honesty. My book is my transparency. I want you to know what I've been through and what God has delivered me from. So I am not ashamed of one word in my book. I say that because I want you to understand there's no reason to be ashamed of anything that has happened in your past. Your past is either going to make you or it is going to break you. And I refuse to be broken twice. God has put me back together from the events that happened in this book. He has put me back together. He has mended me. And I refuse to allow anybody to break me again. I am whole right now, and I am better and stronger than I've ever been. That is how you are supposed to look at your past. When God delivers you from your past, from the trials and tribulations of your past, you are supposed to be stronger. Therefore, there's no need to be ashamed of what you've done in your past. You need to share with others what God is capable of, because it is not about us. It's all about Him. So we have to be boastful in Him, what He can do for you, what He will do for you, how He will deliver you. Don't be ashamed of your past. People want to give you the side eye. They want to say little smart remarks. But one thing, when you're telling somebody about what happened to you in your past, remember this. God chose you to talk about your past, to give your testimony, because He knew that you were courageous enough to do it. You got a lot of people out here that want to point their fingers and say you shouldn't have told that, you shouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't have done that, but they're not bold enough for God to call them for this task. Everybody was not bold enough to tell their testimony. And what we must remember as Christians is our testimonies about what God has done, is our boastfulness about what God has done, is that's going to help someone else. See, my book, you see my book? My book discusses a lot of things that happened in my past. My book has a lot of sex in it, details, a lot of manipulation, a lot of just whole bunch of things that are not good. And I didn't want another woman to repeat the things that I done. Yet I wanted you guys to know what I've done and what God delivered me from, how my mindset was, what I used to think when I was doing the things that I was doing. I wanted it to be known. God guided me through writing this book, and I wanted to make sure that I accepted and I heard from him, because when it's so much more I could have put in this book. You know, from losing, when I wrote in here about losing my child and how I lost my baby and what I did that contributed to losing my baby, that wasn't easy for me. And knowing that my other children would know that I lost a child in between the two of them, that wasn't easy. However, I knew that it would help someone else. I knew that there's someone else walking in down the same path that I'm walking down. So my testimony was more important to me for someone else, because I lived it. Many times I asked, why me, Lord? And I was always taught, why not me? My grandma would always say, why not you? Why not you? Even when she died, I would look around and I would say, why my grandma? Why my grandma? That lady older than my grandmama, you could have took her. God, you could have took her. Why did you take my grandmother? And I could hear her voice saying, why not me? Why not your grandmother? Because this is what I lived for, and that's to go home and be with my father. So when you thinking, why me, about something that you're going through, ask yourself, why not me? I'm the one God chose to tell his people about how he's going to deliver me from this thing. I'm the one he chose to go out and be bold enough to tell my story. So I say to you all, don't be afraid of your past. Don't be ashamed of your past. Don't let anybody shame you because of your past. Tell your own story. That's what I'm doing. That's what I did, and I'm going to continue to tell my story. I want you to know what's in the mind of ministers. I want you to know what clergy are thinking. I want you to know that we are not as strong as you think we are at all times. I want you to know that there's sometimes that we second guess ourselves. I want you to know that we backslide. I want you to know that sometimes our old ways come to pass. And you know, we start thinking about how we can get over. I want you to know all of these things so that you will understand us a little better, so you can stop saying, but he's a preacher, but he's a preacher. We are human. We were called by God, but we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. I wanted you to know where I came from so that when I tell you my next testimony, you will understand what I'm still going through. It hasn't been crystal stairs for me being a preacher. This is nothing that I thought I would be doing. I didn't ask for it. I didn't pray for it, and some of us do desire to be preachers. That's fine. The word tells us to desire these things. But I stayed in the club so much. I knew God couldn't have been calling me. I knew he couldn't, but when he took that out of me, I started trusting him a little bit more. And when he took that strong sex drive away from me, I started trusting him a little bit more. When I realized I didn't need a handyman, I started trusting him a little bit more. And my relationship with him grew and grew as I wrote this small book. It took me 8 years to get it right. 8 years to get it right, because I had to put in this book what God desired for me to put in this book. And I tell you right now, I declare to you right now that not one part of this book shames me. So if you think because I talk about sex, or I talk about how I was just low down and manipulative and had to get back, that I'm ashamed, please let me correct you. First of all, nasty got you here, and nasty gonna keep us here. So that doesn't shame me. Now, did I go out of order? Of course I did. Of course I did. But does my God forgives me? Of course he does. He forgives me. Can I repent? Yes, I can, because he'll forgive me. But I want others to know that there's different ways There's different ways. Skip all the foolishness that I went through. Go straight to your blessings. It took me a long time to get to my blessings. It took me a long time to get to a peace of mind. It took me a long time to not worry about the small stuff. And I just want to help somebody else. So I asked you if you can be open-minded, if you can be unjudgmental or non-judgmental. I asked you to purchase this book. $15. I'll put it the website in the on the page. But purchase this book for $15. Understand where I was and relate it to where you are. And if there's any part of what I went through is where you at right now, look at my scriptures that I have in this book. Try to redirect your life. Try to. Because it's not fun. It's no fun in being the other woman, baby. It's no fun in that. It's no fun in just figuring out who you're going to entertain for the evening. It's no fun in that. I mean, I thought I was having a good time. In my mind, I was a nice businesswoman. Because I didn't use my check. You know, I had gentlemen that took care of me. But it's no fun in that. When you're home by yourself and you're trying to be faithful to somebody's husband. Tell me how that works. Read my book. Read my book. Help redirect your life. Help redirect your daughter's life. Because me and you can read it and redirect your children's life. Help teach them what we go through. Understand why it's important to be a father in your child's life. Understand why your daughters need you just like your sons. Understand that. That's what my book does. My book shows a different light on things. But I tell you, on this day, I am not ashamed of one thing I've done. Because God has prepared me for such a time as this. God has prepared me to share with his people so they will not make the same mistake. Build your relationship with him. Build your relationship with him. I love you. God loves you. Make sure you love yourself. Make sure you purchase the book. Make sure you listen to us on 1400 a.m. on Saturdays at 11 o'clock a.m. And make sure you just follow us so you'll know what we're doing. It's all about God's people with me. It's not about me. And I know as long as I can be humble and keep that, God will continue to bless me. And if you do the same, be obedient to his word, he will continue to bless you as well. You take care. God bless you.